Fellow Nigerians, wonderful, beautiful, and kind people. I am George Onyibe. Of course, a very quick one this afternoon. A message I simply titled, What It Takes to Be a Woman. You will see my last broadcast before this very broadcast of today. I've made a broadcast early this morning titled, If we had channeled all our energy, time, and resources to the development of Nigeria. If you go to that broadcast, I talked about what it takes to be a man. I never mentioned Igbo. I never attacked anybody. I was trying to be on my own. But go to that comment section. You will see useless animalistic Igbo people. Most especially the ones that say that they are Biafra. The ones that follow P2B to drag Tinubu presidential mandate. The ones that are begging for unity all over the world. You will see their insults. And some of you will say, ignore them, don't talk to them. No, Pekin will say, Mama no go sleep. He no go sleep. We already know what they know. It's unfortunate, very pathetic that they are predictable. But this will not hinder us from pointing our people to the right direction. So while we reciprocate that your hopelessness, we will still look for avenue to draw our attention of our people to realistic. And so a very quick one, like I said, a topic I simply titled, What It Takes to Be a Woman. Before we dive into that issue, that very discussion, let's go back to what it takes to be a man. I've told you the burden and the cross the man is called to bear. I've told you that the greatest instrument of the undoing of men is from the women. A man and a woman will come together because they love themselves. And they will have children. It's okay. The mother is always more attached to the children than the father. But in the end, the woman is meant to instill love on the children, while the man is meant to instill discipline. Installing discipline on people is not palatable. But instilling love is very beautiful and glorious. The man ends up being bad and the woman ends up being good. And that is why today, 90% of the children don't have regard for their father. I pity those who are male children, because sooner than expected, they will become father, and that thing they did to their father, it will come back to them. Trying to create a scenario so you appreciate our discussion as a woman. Many women end up teaching their children to hate their father. I don't know what they are looking for. Maybe when they are old, the children will take care of them and abandon their father. But my happiness is that those male children that will fall for this thing will soon become father, and their own sons will treat them in the same manner. Now, let's look at it how it is before we proceed. There was a man who had a son, and every opportunity he has, he harassed the son. When you see the electric bulb is still on in the morning, maybe 9-10 a.m. in the morning, he will yell to the son, why is this electricity still on? Go and switch it up. When you see there is something going wrong and the son does not respond, he will yell at the son, why are you doing this? The son hated the father for it. And one day the son, having graduated from the university, had the opportunity to have employment. And so that day he went for interview. He was praying to God that, oh God, give me this employment. My father has suffered me so much. I need to be free. I need to leave the home. And so that day he went out for the interview. When he got there, he saw other young men like him who also graduates, waiting to be interviewed for the same employment. And so he sat down and was watching the procedure. He noticed that the people going on for the interview were not actually spending much time. They just go in, come out immediately, go in, come out immediately. But his mind was preoccupied with the notion that once he gained this employment, he's going to leave his nagging father. And so while he was sitting down waiting for his name to be called, he noticed that the light on the pavilion of that very interview venue was on. And he remembered his father used to yell to him, "Why will this light be on by 10 a.m.? He knew it was not right for the light to be on at that time. So he stood up from his chair, went to the switch of the light and turned it off. Some few minutes later, he turned around and see the washing hand basin meant for those who visitors to wash their hand when necessary. The tap was dripping water. And he remembered his father used to yell for him, "Don't waste the water. Every small problem, attend to it before it gets worse." And so he stood up and went to attend to that tap. He repaired the water flow system and he came to sit down. Not quite long, he saw there was a chair on the hall runway in the hall. And he remembered how his father used to yell for him, "Can't you put this thing in order?" And so he moved and removed the chair from the hallway and sat down. Not quite long, he was called, and so he moved on for the interview. When he got there, the interviewer asked him, "When will you resume?" The young man was shocked and said, Why? Is it the interview? You have not even interviewed me. You have not looked at my resume, my document. You're asking me when to resume." The interviewer smiled and said, "We've been watching all of you on a CCTV camera. And we have discovered that among all the people that came here for this very job, you are the only person that did not wait to be instructed before you do the right thing. And based on this, we have employed you." And so the young man went home very happy. And when he got home, he told his parents. He was happy with the father. And that is just it. That is how he got the employment. And so if you are listening to this broadcast, your father yell at you, your father harass you, you hate your father for disciplining you, reactivate your brain because you need help. One day your father will not be there. You will become a father. And it will be too late for you because your own sons will be doing to you what you did to your father. But like I said, in most cases, the mother ends up being the instrumental tools that makes the children to fight their father. Now, we are done with the father for this series. Let's go to what it takes to be a woman. Now, if you are very observant, you will notice that 99.9% of women cannot enjoy their son because their daughter-in-law will frustrate them. I'm not sure you understand. Let's go back a little bit. The moment you are a mother, you have a son, your son gets married, the first person that will destroy you is your daughter-in-law. So 90% of mother-in-law and witch and wizard, they are witches and wizards at the center. Courtesy, daughter-in-law. And now one will begin to ask a question. You as a young girl, you married a man trained by a woman. And somewhere along the line, your husband's mother want to visit you people. You begin to attack your husband's mother, being your mother-in-law. She's a witch, she's a this, she's a that, she's a that. Why you attacking her? Has it ever occurred to you that sooner than expected, you will give birth to daughters, and these daughters at the end of the day will be married to another person? This your son will be married to another woman, and that thing you are doing to your mother-in-law, they will do you back. And I know you are not getting it. Now let us look at what it takes to be a woman. I want to see how I can be able to comprehensively present this information to you. The women in them are embedded with the grace to absorb pain. When a woman gets pregnant, and during the procedures of labor, the woman will vouch that I will never have another child after this. It's a lie. It's the pain that controls her. In less than 6 months after delivery, she will take in again. She will give birth over and over and over again until her system cannot contain it anymore. Because they have the ability to absorb pain. Women go through a lot, just like men. I cannot imagine, for instance, my wife. She wakes up as early as possible. She begin to take care of the washing of dishes, begin to do assignment, begin to wash my clothes, begin to tidy up the home, begin to look of how to make one or two things work out. Believe me, I'm a man, I'm very strong. I do not envy my wife. I do not wish to be a woman. But they cannot break down. They are always very strong and ready to move on. And women should be adored. No wonder a songwriter once said that when he looked at how the world was created, he feels that God is a woman. Let me see if I can get the rhythm of that song. When I think about how this world was made, I wonder if God is a woman. Honestly, the woman had the capacity to absorb every pressure and remain on the right emotion till the end. And I envy them. You see, their problem is that emotionally, sentimentally ripped off of their children because of their unusual attachment to their children against the man. And so they may end up destroying the man. But now when they come to the receiving end, their own son get married. And the moment their son brings in another woman, that woman will destroy them. And so watch mother-in-law. 99.9% of them are witches. But they are not witches. But they are witches because the law of nature must fulfill its circulation. I know these things even before I got married. I have a mother, I have a father. I know some roles my mother want to play on me against my father. I tried to tone it down, but I got to a stage when I see my mother was going beyond her border. I called her one day, I say, Mommy, see, you are my mother and I love you. You see that man, he's my father and I love him as well. I want to beg you, I want to appeal to you. What I do with my father should not be your concern. And what I should do with you is not of any concern to my father. I shunned my mother, honestly, aggressively. Don't tell me how to treat my father. Because you know what? I know I am a father. I know my children are going to come someday. And since that day till the demise of my mother, she never addressed me in that manner again. But here is the clue. The love I showed to my mother, if you divide it into 10, I didn't show it to my father. Not because I hated my father or I loved my mother more than my father, but because I understand that almost 70% of every money I give to my mother return to the family. But every 99.9% of the money I give to my father return to my father. And I see if the family must be sustained, more of the resources should go to the mother instead of the father. It is only on this condition that I can now see that I actually took care of my mother more than my father. But outside this, believe me, my father is my father and my mother is my mother. And then along the line, I got married. I called my wife. I said, see, you see that woman? She's my mother. She carried me for 9 months. And there is nobody I think I can trust more than this woman. Because if she has aborted me before 9 months, I will not be here. And now I'm very strong. There were times I couldn't help myself. Without her, I would have been gone. There are periods where my father would have abandoned me, but the love of my mother will not allow him to do that. I say, having said all this, and now I can fend for myself, she's going to come to our house. She may begin to behave unusual. The last thing you will do is to attack my mother. The last thing you will do is to report my mother to you. The last thing you will do is to condemn my mother because you have a mother. As a man, I can't condemn your mother. I love your mother as much as I love my mother. I will control your mother and deal with her excesses when necessary. Please, wife, take care of my mother. Maybe I will be watching both of you. As time goes on, she gave birth to another birth. And each of these time, and when it is time for what you know as Omogo, my mother will want to come. After all, she's the boss woman. I will say, Mama, no. She said, why? I'm supposed to come. You are my son. I say, yes, that is why you are not supposed to be the first person to come. My wife has a mother, and nobody would have been able to take care of my wife more than her own mother. Please allow her mother to come and take care of her. When they are done with the omugo, you can come and do me my own omugo because I need the omugo. I was able to pass sense to my mother and she calmed down. And I make sure every children or child we had, my mother-in-law will be the first to attend to her daughter. And this is because I love my wife. And then after she's done and gone, if I have the financial capacity, I'll tell mommy, come. Which even if I don't have the money, I will do everything necessary to make sure that my own mother still feel the omogo. There's nothing for her to do, but let us balance the equilibrium. And she will come, do her own, cause her own havoc. Put my wife under pressure. And when I comes in, my wife will like, I say, don't go there. It's not because I don't know the pressure my mother is putting on her, but I only consider the danger. If she reacts, all of us will suffer for it. And I try to control both of them. And I'm happy today that my wife did not lose her mind. It's over now. My mother enjoyed both me and my wife. We enjoyed my mother-in-law from both ends, and no issues. And I want to pray that tomorrow when my sons begin to marry, their wife will not treat my wife, in such a useless manner, because I will be there waiting for them anyway. And why am I saying all these things? Women, understand that the reason why your son's wife see you as the greatest enemy, eventually their own son's wife will see them as the greatest enemy. It's because majority of you are instrumental in using your sons to destroy your husband. Stop it. God has made you uniquely. Maintain that. I would have loved to go beyond this. But on this series, I'm coming on top of the water. I don't want to go down. Because there are a lot of books that will be coming up in the nearest future. A lot of articles already in place. So that you understand the role of the father and the mother in the family. So, women, respect your husband. He said, and your desire shall be for your husband. You don't get it. You use your children to destroy your husband. Those your daughters will destroy you when the time comes. Your son's wife will destroy you when the time comes. This is the circle of life. That is why I keep telling Igbo people, Biafra Igbo people. I didn't want to call them on this series. Go and check the first series when I talked about what it takes to be a man. I didn't call Igbo people. Hopeless, animalistic, Igbo, Biafra, useless, criminal, baby factory, unknown gunmen, fake drink, fake alcohol, all these people who don't have conscience. Go and look at what they are doing there. I didn't talk to them. Pekin will say, Mama no go sleep. He no go sleep. And that is why the Igbo people, when they were busy using media platform to blackmail, character assassinate, dish propaganda against other ethnic groups, they never knew we will come here. But afu bi ife, ndị afu bi ife, waga ama itu ekesi anyango, adi amakwa ama. And so if you're progressive-minded Igbo, listening to this broadcast, please, don't join Biafra people. Nihi na mu abu agwo torumbe, adi amakwa ama. I am their destiny, I am their doom. Don't join them. Our job here is to save the rest true Igbo people. Let us know the one that say they come from Israel. Let us know the one that say they come from Equatorial Guinea. The one that fall from heaven. The one that come from Jamaica, Otikori, Opuropo. We want to know all of them. The ones that see you as slave Igbo, also Igbo, Wawawa Igbo. We need to assemble them and put them one place. Because if I don't curse them now, I will not be happy when I see them disgracing their father and their mother on my own platform. I'll be calling them until they get sense. So when you are a woman, you want to destroy your husband so that only your children will take care of you. You are in diaspora. You want the benefit, child benefit. My dear, that child benefit, make sure you eat enough because you will get what the seed you have sown. He that murdered sleep should not go to bed. And he that sowed to the wide wind will of the wide wind reap corruption. And your case will be irredeemable. It takes your ability to absorb pain to be a woman. Learn from Sarah. The Bible says she called the husband Lord. Learn from Sarah, even though he used Jacob to disenthrone Esau. But she played her role well. She never allowed any of the children to undermine the position of the father. Learn from Isaac, Jacob. Learn from even Joseph's wife, who is an Egyptian. All of them know the right thing to do. So women, if you want to enjoy your children, not being haunted by your son's wife, don't use those your son to destroy your husband. Adi amakwa ma oborokwu ndị Igbo. Ndị Igbo bụ ndị Igbo. Bụrụ ndị Igbo bụ ndị Biafra, ndị Oshi. Ndị secessionalists and expansionists. And I will stop here. I want to believe you understand what I mean. Women, female, mother, because we have only two genders, male and female. This message is for and dedicated to the women. You are actually the custodian of nature itself. Please do the right thing. I wish I can sing this song very well. I've dedicated it to a woman. And sometimes I wish I was a woman. When I think about how this world made, I wonder if God is a woman. I think God is a woman, honestly. Have a nice day. We go nowhere. I remain George Onyibi, and I sign off from here. Ooh.